I'm so overwhelmed with the beauty of this place.
Yes.
That theater, it's fantastic. And the ambience of this office is conducive. When you are in an atmosphere that is conducive to learning, you get effective. You can think clearly. And I want to say that this building should be a prototype for all state internal revenue services. And I think I will carry that message wherever I go, that state internal revenue services building should be conducive for learning, for working. Staff now have confidence in whatever they do. They have self-confidence too. I want to appreciate this, Chairman, and I want to extend that appreciation to the government of the state. Edo State has been doing a lot in terms of support for the institute by the support to give the Edo and District Society. We consider Edo as an important stakeholder, which you are, in the whole state. As such, this visit is key. It will afford us an opportunity to thank you for your valued support for the institute. Since 2014, I haven't been able to express my appreciation to the board physically for the support they gave for the annual task conference that we held in Tinaba. It was in fact the first time we were moving the annual task conference from Abuja. And the support the state gave us was overwhelming. I want to thank you very much for that. We must commend the performance of the service under your leadership. Edo State has fared relatively well compared to other states in the area of internally generated revenue. We have taken the lead in terms of professional and innovative strategies in tax administration. We urge you to continue to support the expectations of government in mobilizing revenue required for development of Edo State. I also want to commend the state government for positively utilizing the taxpayers' money for the benefit of taxpayers. Capacity building is also critical to improving the performance of staff at the board. As you are aware, being a valued member of the Institute, we are a knowledge-based organization. We believe that continuous training is important in the development of professionals, especially our members. In this line, I would like to state that the horizon is going to expand for training. It's going to expand for not necessarily within the country. We are also looking at training abroad for members, and all this will be put on the website of the Institute so that members can have knowledge of what is happening outside the country and have personal experience, sharing of experience. So this is very important. It is also important that I inform you that the Council of the Institute is considering providing an opportunity for staff of revenue boards that have not had the opportunity of undertaking the Joint Tax Board Final Inspector of Taxes course to belong to the Institute. This category of persons are expected to be involved in core tax functions and must have attained the position of manager or level 12, as the case may be. Such persons will undergo a 3-month course of the CITN and the Tax Academy, and thereafter be eligible to be admitted as members of the CITN. Details of this program have been finalized and shall be communicated in due course. Having seen your theater, I think we can as well take advantage of that. If we have enough members of staff that will take advantage of the Tax Academy, we can be trained here. since we have this facility here, we can align with that people from South can come here. Furthermore, we advise that you give us maximum support in ensuring professionalism in the tax system. This is the best way to promote journalism and eliminate fraud. This is very important because it adds value to our members. We will continue to be partners in progress towards building an efficient and professionalized tax system. Thank you very much.
Let me first of all start by congratulating all the awardees from the dinner last night. I personally had a wonderful time, and I want to thank the Institute for the award that was granted to not just the Edo State Internal Revenue Service on the corporate side, but also to one of our own, the Secretary to the Board and Secretary to the Service, CITN, who, having said that, I also want to thank you very much for the remarks you made when we paid a courtesy visit on the governor yesterday. And some of the key takeaway from that visit are that, one, we need to focus on improving revenue collection, and any initiative that will drive things in that direction are the things we should focus on. And you also made a mention of adopting taxation by representation as a strategy to harnessing the potentials in the informal sector. Other key points include setting the tone at the top, ensuring that economic policies are aligned with the overall objectives of the state, and of course you highlighted the informal sector as a strategic area where we should leverage the presumptive tax regime. When we assumed leadership here 2 years ago, we very quickly identified some critical success factors if we are to achieve the objectives for which we are set up. And one of the things that has been preached in this country is that revenue services should gradually evolve from being just tax collectors to offering to being a service institution. And so we identified data as very critical for planning, technology as a platform to drive transparency, efficiency, and accountability. The legal and regulatory framework has to be right. So when you have autonomy for the revenue service, it encourages the service to do better, it gives them the power they require, it helps to drive compliance and enforcement. Human capital capacity is a key driver to any revenue administration. Because if the people don't have the tools, they don't have the skills, then they are not going to be able to administer government revenue for the purpose of collection. As a matter of fact, in many instances, they might not even know the revenue sources to government, and so they go after, rather undefined, collection under all sorts of guises, and then you have people accusing government of multiple taxation and multiplicity of collection. Enlightenment and stakeholders' engagement is very, very critical, particularly for this sector, the informal sector, where we have major growth potential. And so we at the Edo State Internal Revenue Service in the last 2 years have focused on all of this to address some of these key points you actually raised yesterday. So it was indeed a validation of what we have been doing, and coming from an authority like yourself, we feel very encouraged that we are in the right direction. But is there room for more? There is always room for more. Do we need support? We certainly need support from the Institute, from the government, and from the taxpayers whom we administer collection over. And so not to bore us so much this morning with lengthy speeches, one of the things that we have done also is to stay close to our professionals. We took the entire industry and we split them amongst the various professionals whom we engaged as consultants to work with us to audit them for taxes, enlighten them so that we can bring them up to speed in terms of being current on remittances to government. Because we've come to realize that once people are current on their payment of obligations to government, it doesn't become heavy at the end of the year. Tax is a derivative of the law. And so the law says you have 1 year to pay. But you can decide to lighten your burden by being current and making payments on account. And with what we have done in EIRS, we have deployed technology. I would say it's the most robust platform in the country. And so we can actually track payments on accounts from taxpayers so that at the end of the year we don't have reconciliation issues. And from our platform today, you can actually take a single liability standpoint for each taxpayer. So if you pull the taxpayer's information, you see the associated assets, the associated businesses, his associated bills, his associated payments, and you can easily tell in real time what his outstanding liability is. And that has helped us in engaging with taxpayers. Having built technology, we have grown our tax base from about 162,000 about a year and a half ago to, as at yesterday night when I was with you, when I looked on the platform, we had 315,000. Wow. So our strategies are now geared towards making recurrent items out of each of these taxpayers for what they ought to pay at the right rates while continuing to expand the tax base. And one of the strategies we have adopted is what I often refer to as the Jehovah's Witness approach, which is to engage a group of young people who we have trained. We call them State Tax Education and Enlightenment Team. And they go door to door, engaging with taxpayers, profiling them, bringing back these profile forms. We process them in the system, assessments are raised, we visit them, we educate them on how and what the law says about assessments, and we are gradually seeing a steady increase in our collection, particularly in the direct assessment space as a result of this strategy. We're not going to get into all the details of everything that we do and how we do them, but I have a final note and appeal. 2 points really. One is that I would like to encourage or appeal to the Institute to engage with the owners of the revenue services, that is, the government and the leaders of government, the governors, perhaps through the Joint Tax Board. We should encourage government to make investment in revenue collection. It's not enough for us to make investments in infrastructure projects and other social services, but the bedrock of funding for government being tax, we have to invest in the process. We appreciate our governor for the support he has given us. He's a professional and understands the import of what I have just mentioned, but I have colleagues from other states and I would like to speak for those of them who require investments. We require additional investments because you must continue to invest in the house that you have built, to keep it standing and running. I would also make a second appeal. I think we have come to a point where we need to have periodic peer review amongst all the states in the country so that we can see how well each tax authority is doing vis-a-vis the information we have at the macroeconomic level for each state. Why it's important is not to identify the top performers or the laggards, is to identify the gaps so that the governments know in which areas to make this critical investment, which is the first request that I have made. It is very important because not every state is structured in the same way from a macroeconomic standpoint. So while some states may do more from the formal sector, where you have PAYE being the key driver, some other states are largely dependent on the informal sector, perhaps because they are agrarian or otherwise. And some other states are service-based. So if you look at the structure, for example, of Edo State, you would find that the informal sector and the service sector forms a critical component of our economy. But if you ask me where are many of those people, many operate from home. You know, and then there are some other areas we need to sit down and do some brainstorming on how to bring them into the tax net within the informal sector, particularly those employees who are warehoused in our homes. So your cook, your steward, your gardeners, and those sort of people, you know, we need to task ourselves on how to bring them into the tax net. So those are the two critical requests that we want to make. We want to assure the body that we will continue to support as best as we can, and we will continue to leverage our shared resources, because I say our shared resources because we are all members of this body and we are stakeholders. Once again, I want to welcome you to Benin, Madam President, my brother, Vice President, my registrar, my own brother and my chairman. So good morning.
On behalf of the district, I also want to
some of the most recent newsletters from the Joint Task Board for the benefit of members of the institute who don't have received copies. There's no money in it.